next you see the kundala, like Krishna is wearing kundal, no? Like Karna was born with Kavach kundal, but generally they do the Karna Veda so that kundal and they can wear some nice earrings. The second is Akupancha. It says that by putting a hole there, this ear is supposed to be like the child within the womb, upside down. You know, this lower portion where they pierce the hole, ear hole, is supposed to be the head of the child, and this is the backbone, and this is the body, like that. So even in Chinese acupressure and our Indian system also, they have certain specific points you can press. And you see in the classroom, if the children are being very naughty, the master will come and he'll catch the ear like this and he'll twist the ear. I've seen this. And even doctors, if a patient goes unconscious, what they do, they grab the ear and they very seriously twist it. The person, he wakes up. He comes into consciousness. So this making a hole here, it helps a lot of blood flow. And this hole is also the region of the mouth because the mouth is open. So, there is especially a hole there. This is some scientific explanation for that. Then they say that the blood in the brain also, it goes very nicely. It increases the hearing power. And finally, it prevents a lot of diseases simply by poking a hole in your ear, in this part of. Nowadays, it has become fashion to poke everywhere. I've seen people put 10, 20 rings on the ear. Looks a bit awkward, but anyway. And finally, the last point, it said it strengthens the sexual senses. It keeps a person very virile. Like people, they wear kadao. You've seen that wooden sandals with just one thing between the big toe and the finger next to it. You wear the kadao, it is supposed to press a specific point. It helps a person to remain a brahmachari. So there are all these nice things in Vedas that sometimes we do mechanically without understanding. That is why it is recommended you wear these wooden slippers. It's very good, actually. So this is a 9th one. The 10th one is Upanayana. The second, they get into the school and the Guru gives them all the mantras, the Gayatri mantras and other things. And this Janir, or the Upavita, is also called the Upanayana ceremony. Upa means coming close to the Guru. So the person is taken to the Guru and the Guru, he does it. And generally, the sacred thread has 3, that Upavita, because the 3 depths that the child has towards the rishis, towards the pitras, and towards the devas, it is being cancelled by that. When he chants the Gayatri mantras and all, these 3 depths, they are gone away. So then after the Upanayan, then we have Samvartan. Samvartan means after the education is over, sometimes they come back. But some of them, they remain and they become sannyasis and they preach. But most of the population in Kali Yuga, they generally get married. So they come back home and then they receive education. After receiving the education, trying to bring that person back, that is called Samavartana. So they're preparing the child psychologically so that he can face the struggles of life, material life, getting married, raising children himself. All these things, the Samvartana is performed. Then 13th is Vivaha. Once he comes home, generally they settle down, they get married at appropriate age. Then this is also very important because usually it happens once in a lifetime. So nowadays it is very common, people marrying 4 or 5 times. But the Vedic system, there was only one marriage. So very gorgeously they used to do, and they used to chant mantras, go around the sacred fire with a lot of witnesses. And for 7 lifetimes, we will be together. This is what they promise. But they don't even last 7 years. Then Vivaha, then the 14th is Vanaprastha, retiring from worldly life. After age 50, this sanskara is done. Then the 15th one is sannyas, renouncing worldly life. See, in reality, the goal of sannyas is not simply to meditate and detach from everything, but rather it is to spread the teachings of the Vedas, what Lord is saying in all the other shastras also, to every corner of the world. So that's why sannyasis, they should not stay overnight also in one place. They have to keep moving. This is what it is mentioned. The Goswamis also, they were not sitting under a tree for more than 1 day. They would move some other place. So this is a thing, so that they can get this ample opportunity to preach the message of the Lord. And finally, we have the 16th sanskar, which is Antyeshti. Antyeshti means after the death of the person. After the person leaves the body is bathed in all the auspicious, sometimes for devotees, they put a tilak, they bathe them in Ganges water, and then they offer a tulsi leaf in his mouth. They put a garland of the prasadi garland of the Lord, and sometimes they apply this Narsinga oil also on his head, so that the body is purified, and then it is burned. Usually it is burned unless one is a sannyasi. He is dedicated his whole life for serving the Lord. And for sannyasis, they put them inside the earth because the person is still there. The person is always there. So it is considered a spiritual body, so they put it inside the earth. But in the Mayavadi sannyasis, what they do, they put them in a casket, like a coffin, and they just let them inside the Ganges, the kind of jala samadhi. So that thing will keep floating and it just goes away into the ocean and slowly it will get absorbed in the water. So this is Antyeshti rites. So these are the 16 sanskaras it is done. So we see how our Nanda Maharaj is insisting, you please do this. Somehow or others. But with Kali Yuga, people are Manda, Sumanda Bhatayo, Manda Bhagya. Manda means slow, and Manda means lazy, and Manda also means stupid. So there are three meanings. So people are so foolish that they don't understand that this purification is actually meant for their benefit. People, they don't realize this. So because of that, like cat and dogs, they produce children who also turn out to be like cat and dogs. And you cannot expect peace in the society with cat and dogs. There'll always be a fight. So that's why Prabhupada is highlighting that this purification is an essential duty actually. And this Varnashrama, it begins with this act. And Prabhupada is also saying, originally a father, he was very eager to actually help his children to elevate themselves by purifying. But because they have been being misguided nowadays, they have a party, they drink, they cut a cake, and that's it. They have some joker come there and dance, nothing auspicious. And he said, even they are prepared to kill to be, to avoid this responsibility of raising children. It's a big headache actually. It is not an easy thing. So, why? Because people have forgotten the essence. The essence is this Krishna consciousness, this process of purification. So thank you very much for your patient listening. Hare Krishna, I think I'll stop with Vija. Because of the sanskar, you become twice born. You need this twice birth. Human beings means they just cannot remain like that. But most of them, they degrade to animals, but rather you have to take a second birth and elevate yourself to the spiritual platform. And for that, sanskarat bhavet vija. You get a second birth through this sanskar process. Upanayan, approaching a guru and all that. Then once you get a second birth, where the mother is the Vedas and the father is the spiritual master, then you can get into the eternal birth. So this is how it works. But otherwise, you remain as a human being, even though you are a good human being. Ultimately, if you don't get a second birth, you degrade yourself to animal life. This is usually what happens. So that's why this is very, very important aspect of human life. Intelligent human beings, they should definitely, those who are advanced in spiritual knowledge, and they are expecting a peaceful and happy society, they have to do this process. They have to do this. Yeah.
Yes, Ram Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Sham Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, yeah. Prabhu, I want to ask that out of the 16 samskaras, now present basically means how many are carried out by at least people who are somewhat religious or...
Garbhadan is practically neglected. Even devotees, I don't know how many couples are doing that devotional thing. Then Srimantonayan is generally performed. They do that. This 4th month, these things, because ladies, they take care. The families, they have a big festival and generally a lot of gifts they get. So they get some income also. money and other things. And the child is given some jewels and all that. So naturally, this Simantonayan is done. Jata karma is also done, but it is not exactly done according to the Vedic thing. That is another point. But it is done. Then we have the Namkaran, that is also done. But they don't follow the Vedas. The names they just give like that. Shiju, Shaju, Shiny, I don't know. I mean, like how they name people. And then Nishkramana, the first outing that happens, but again, they don't take the child to the temple. Not everybody does that. Then there's Annaprashna, most of them, they do that. They take the child to the temple because the first thing they have to give prasadam, they do that. If I was taken to the Guruvayur temple and Guruvayurappan's prasadam was given. So this is there. Annaprashna. Chudakaran, again, they shave the baby. That is also there because you see the hair doesn't grow in a very proper way. So they shave it. So Chudakaran is done. But again, they don't do a ritual for that. They don't chant all these mantras and pray for the health of the baby. Manipur, they do that. I've seen that. Manipur, Vanamali Prabhu was doing a lot of this Chudakaran. Then we have Karnaveda, that also mostly the Kshatriyas and Brahmins, they do that. Vaishyas, they sometimes do it much later as a fashion. But otherwise, they are supposed to do it. But most traditional Brahmin families and Kshatriya families, they do that. Then Upanayan, Brahmin thing is very, very rare actually. You have very few people who are Brahminically inclined actually. And then they generally, even in the traditional Brahmin families, they do it just before marriage, right? They do this one-day thing where they put this Upavita. And they give them the Gayatri to chant. Only one Gayatri is there, the Surya Gayatri is here. But like in our parampara, where we have all these different Gayatris and the meaning behind that, to understand, that is not properly done. And the significance of the Guru is not highlighted so much. There in, the traditional Guru is there, the hereditary Guru. They pay him something, he does the yajna, they gave him some money, and after that everything is covered. They get married and that's it. Not like this kind. Then we have Samvartan returning home, because there is no Gurukula system, none. So this returning back home to get married and all this doesn't work out. Shadi they do. Viva Yagya, they do that. Everybody does it. Vanaprastha, again, not many people do that. There are no jungles left. There is so much deforestation anywhere. And Prabhupada also was saying, you go to a place like Vrindavan or Mayapur, become a Vanaprastha. Sannyas, you can, you can count how many people are taking sannyas. And Antyeshti, it happens for everybody. Datatlis, they do. Ram Nam Satya hai, they burn the body. There is a big, drum beating, lot of flower garlands and everything. And I have to give a good farewell. So Antyeshti is done. So Vivaha, Antyeshti, then Annaprashna, Namkaran, Jatakarna, then these things, Chudakaran, some of these things are done. Simantonayan is also done. Pumsavana, they don't do. And Garbhadan, mostly no. So maybe out of these 16, they do 4 or 5. It's very rare to find somebody who has done all the 16. Okay, Prabhu.
Prabhu, another thing was, basically I think all the samskaras are either done in the temple or by the brahmanas.
Yeah, that is another thing. The most important is that a qualified brahmana or at least a devotee comes. See, you want auspiciousness, the abode of auspiciousness, the reservoir of all auspiciousness is the Lord. So those who are ideally representing the Lord, a nice devotee, sannyasi, very elevated brahmana who's understood the meaning of Vedas, and when they come and bless, it becomes a little effective. Otherwise, they're simply words. Anybody can parrot them. But it has to come from the heart. Full understanding. Then that blessing actually, it becomes generally, whatever these people they say, it happens. The brahmanas, people used to approach the brahmanas for this reason. If the brahmana gives this blessing, then it will happen.
Mm-hmm.
So is the whole idea. But Kali Yuga, because of all these discrepancies, what people say, they don't usually, it is not very effective. Not very effective.
Okay, bro. Thank you.
Yeah. There's also the belief, right? Like when we are going out for some important work, we follow the feet of mother and father. Why we do that? Because elderly people, they love and care for us. And when they bless from their heart. It is not something superficial. They're not doing it for money. So these, and you have faith that whatever they do, it will work out. So like that, some kind of person is required very much. So generally, a nice devotee of the Lord is ideal candidate. Elevated sannyasis, well-versed brahmanas. Not just well-versed, but at least you should know and be leading a life like that, piety, devotion to the Lord. Then the person, I remember he came to do the shraddh for my father. He had this small vessel, and he did, and half an hour, my appointment is finished, I have another appointment, he ran away with the money. We just sat down there, and within half an hour, 10 to 15 minutes, everything was finished. And I went to Puri, and that one doctor friend, that Brahmana, he said, he explained everything. And this doctor, he started crying actually. What and all, who and all we are offering to the Pitras, that person. And hardly they paid him some 400, 500 rupees. And in the city, it was like 5,000 something, even at that time. And just half an hour, no satisfaction at all. He didn't even feel anything. So these kind of people, they come, I don't know what to say. Yeah, bro.
So one more question. If nobody is there to ask, then. Another question: in the last sentence of the purport, we read that previously a father was eager to give all kinds of help to elevate his children. So basically, it seems that the guardian of the family or the man of the family should be spiritual or religious, to take this process, very seriously. Yeah. Because it was compulsory in the previous times, Prabhupada writes in the purport that such institutional activities were compulsory formally. So
the father is the head of the family, right?
Yeah.
So the father is not guiding, then who the child will follow. Generally, the child, he looks at the father as a hero. For every child, the father is a real hero. He's the one who's maintaining him, bringing him up. So if the father is a devotee, automatically the child becomes that.
Yeah.
It's a responsibility. That's why nowadays they don't want to take the responsibilities. So what they do, they kill the child within the womb itself. Many areas in Punjab, especially girls, when they see that the baby born is a girl child, they immediately strangle the child. They said they become too much problem getting her married, and boys will be running after her. There's a lot of headache. They kill the child. Sometimes in the womb itself, if they know, they do that. Nowadays it is forbidden, but this is how demoniac Kali Yuga has become. Because they want the pleasure, the enjoyment, but they don't want the pain because of the responsibility and raising up the child. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. Manda Bhagya. No, getting a child is the biggest good fortune. And that son, if you're not able to complete your devotion, that son will save you actually. Because he will continue that devotion and he will save you from the Put Narak. That's why he is called Putra. Otherwise, he is as good as Mutra, the father's urine. But these people, they think it is a burden to raise a child. In my father's time, before that, my grandfather, they had 16 children. Now, even to give birth to one, they have to think 1,000 times. And if both the husband and wife are working very hard also, to raise one child properly becomes a big burden for them. 16 children, can you imagine this, one after another? Maybe few of them that died because the medical facilities were not good. But, 16 children. Yeah.
So lastly, one final question is that here in Kali Yuga, Manda Sumanda Matayo. So in the purport is we are reading this is people are all bad and unfortunate, and they don't accept Vedic instructions to make their life successful.
Yeah.
So some people, what is our instruction in the for this now the present age these people, or what they should do? No, they are not following the Vedic instructions.
That's why I said, na, Tasma Shastra Pramanam te, Karya Karya Vyavasthit. So when you're following the proper authority, and Vedic authority is the topmost, there is nothing to beat that, because directly it is coming from the Lord. The Lord himself is saying these things. If you don't follow the Shastra Vidhi, then na Sukham, na Param Gatim, na Siddhim. You cannot achieve perfection. You cannot achieve the highest destination. Na Sukham. You will not also be happy. And we see that people are not happy. People, they don't know what is the destination. Forget about achieving it. Then what is the perfection of life? Again, they don't. And the destination in the future, again, it will be a horrible place they go land. You cannot achieve the greatest destination, Vaikuntha, Parampara. They cannot achieve. That's why Shastra is there. But nowadays it has become a fashion to go against Shastra. Some very fashionable to do. All these, some old Babaji sitting under the tree, some Dadiwala says he has given something. But this is how they are completely ruined the younger generation. They don't know what is exactly there in the Vedas and how much it is beneficial for us. Many of them, they don't know. That's why we have to educate them on this. It's a mission.
Thank you, bro. Thank you very much.
Govinda, we can wind up? Okay. So thank you very much for your patient listening. Hare Krishna. Guru Maharaj Srila Sripad ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantra Srimad Bhagwatam ki jai, B.I. Bhaktavrinda ki jai, Sambheda Gaur Bhaktavrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Jai Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.